Dependence on imported used vehicles, create jobs, develop a local automotive industry, and keep more value within the Ghanaian economy. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the afternoon business review here on Class 91.3 FM, where we tell you what moves money and markets. So my name is Agyemah Prempeh, and that's how we start the show today. Let's start with our regulars. Let's go to the commodities markets. Let's check how much crude oil, gold, and cocoa is being pegged on the international market. So for crude oil has dropped by $5 and is selling at $78, down from the $83 it sold on Thursday. Gold is being pegged at $4,058 per ounce, down from the $4,079, which it also sold on Thursday, so it has decreased by some $21. And cocoa is priced at $5,713 per metric ton, up from the $5,116, which sold on Thursday. So in normal terms, cocoa price has increased about $597. And on the exchange market, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis 66 pesos and is buying at 11 cedis 65 pesos. The pound is trading at 15 cedis 49 pesos and is buying at 15 cedis 48 pesos, whereas the euro is going for 13 cedis 25 pesos and is buying at 13 cedis 24 pesos. And as we do say all the time, don't go to the black market, neither should you go to Accra, Circle, Airport, Tudu, or wherever. Go to a licensed forex bureau or any commercial bank of your choice. Because it is illegal, as we say here on the afternoon business review here on Class 91.3 FM, to go to the black market to change your dollar, or your pound, or your euro, however you want to put it. Now let me take you to the stock market as Caitlin Dazi of Databank is on standby.
The stock market ended the week on Friday with price gains in two equities against 8 laggards. The top gainers were Hodds and Bank, while Atlantic Lithium, Intravenous Infusions, and MTN Ghana declined. Driven by the price moves, the Ghana Stock Exchange Composite Index declined to a year-to-date return of 75.99%, while the Databank Stock Index returned 90.8%. MTN Ghana and Casapreco traded the most, accounting for 60.21% of the market turnover after trading 2.6 million shares across 26 counters. For Databank Research, Caitlin Dazi.
And here in the studios of Class 91.3 FM, my name is Agyemah Prempeh. It's now time for us to check out stories shaping both the local and international economies. And let's start from Ghana, as Ghana recorded an estimated $1.3 million in losses from mobile money fraud during the first quarter of 2025. That's according to the latest Interpol African Cyber Threat Assessment report. Per the report, cyber criminals continue to exploit the country's growing digital payments ecosystem. It also warned that advances in artificial intelligence are making online scams more convincing and difficult to detect. There's more in the following Newsdesk report.
The Interpol African Cyber Threat Assessment Report 2026 cites Ghana as one of the countries grappling with rising mobile money fraud, noting that the losses came as cyber criminals increasingly exploited digital payments platforms to target unsuspecting users. The report describes mobile money fraud as Africa's most widespread online scam, with 97% of countries responding to Interpol's member country survey, identifying it as a major cybercrime threat. Per the report, mobile money fraud emerged as the most prevalent online scam reported by member countries, warning that the rapid growth of digital financial services has created new opportunities for cyber criminals. The report highlights Kenya as another country heavily affected by the trend, where authorities detected More than 123,000 fraudulent SIM cards in 2025 that were linked to SIM swap fraud. It says criminals increasingly exploit weaknesses in mobile payment ecosystems to intercept one-time password, hijack customer accounts, and conduct unauthorized transactions. Interpol warned that advances in artificial intelligence are making online scams more convincing and difficult to detect. The report calls for stronger cooperation between law enforcement agencies, financial institutions, and telecommunication companies to combat the growing threats.
So that was your news extra report. President John Dramani Mahama has directed the National Petroleum Authority (NPA) to take steps to absorb 2 Ghana cedis on every litre of diesel as part of measures to cushion consumers against recent fuel prices. The intervention is intended to reduce the burden of rising fuel costs on Ghanaians, particularly commercial transport operators and businesses that depend heavily on diesel. The Tema Oil Refinery, TOR, has begun efforts to restart operations after almost 6 years of closure in what government calls a major step to strengthen local fuel production. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony, President Mahama said the revival of the crude distillation unit forms part of his administration's resetting agenda. According to the president, the goal is to grow the economy and reduce Ghana's reliance on imported petroleum products. The refurbished CDU marks the first phase of bringing the state-owned refinery back online.
It was a very sad image of the refinery at the time. Dust had promoted itself into management. Today, I'm happy that dust has been relegated to dust. Wow. We stand in the vision of our first president, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Indeed, to him belongs the vision. Because as far back as our post-colonial period, he had a vision that Ghana needed an industry like the Tema Oil Refinery. And so he commissioned it in 1963. At that time, it was called Ghana Italian Petroleum Company, GAIP. It was not until 1977 that Ghana took over 100% the shares of this refinery. Since then, its history has been checkered. It has had periods of glory, it has had periods of downturn. And if you look at the story of TOR, it reinforced a certain perception that state-owned enterprises could not operate, and that the only way a state-owned enterprise could survive was to be sold off to the private sector. TOR has disproved that theory. Because as the minister told you, if not for the bravery of the workers and their resistance, this edifice here, this refined strategic national asset here, would have been leased out for 15 years for $22 million. But today, to the glory of God, a very determined management and board, very talented and efficient workers, working with strategic partners, has turned the fortunes of this refinery around. And I must say that this has been done without a single cedi from the government of Ghana. Wow. Because as the minister told you, if not for the bravery of the workers and their resistance, this edifice here, this refined strategic national asset here, would have been leased out for 15 years for $22 million. But today, to the glory of God, a very determined management and board, very talented and efficient workers, working with strategic partners, has turned the fortunes of this refinery around. And I must say that this has been done without a single cedi from the government of Ghana. TOR has achieved.
So you had President John Dramani Mahama. And on the international front, the US has made permanent a visa bond program that could require some travelers from 50 countries, including 30 in Africa, to pay up to um, $20,000 before receiving a U.S. business or tourist visa. The money is refunded if the visitor leaves the U.S. before their visa expires and obeys all visa rules. It is forfeited if they overstay or violate the terms of their visa. African countries on the list include Nigeria, Algeria, Benin, Botswana, Burundi, Cabo Verde, Central African Republic, Cote d'Ivoire, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Gabon, the Gambia, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Lesotho, Malawi, Mauritania, Mauritius, Mozambique, Namibia, Sao Tome and Principe, Senegal, Seychelles, Tanzania, Togo, Tunisia, Uganda, Zimbabwe, and Zambia. So those are stories shaping both the local and international scenes. So you're still listening to the Afternoon Business Review here on Class 91.3 FM with me, Agyemah Prempeh. It's now time for us to move into our big conversation for today. And we are scheduled to speak with the Executive Secretary of the Vehicle and Asset Dealers Association of Ghana, who is in the person of Frank Atienle Kofi-Ga. And also, we are discussing this topic of the ban on import of vehicles that are more than 10 years old. So from 1st August 2026, Ghana began enforcing a ban on the import of used vehicles that are more than 10 years old under new safety rules. So all imported used vehicles must also be inspected before shipment and meet Ghana's safety and environmental standards. So flood damaged, bent and heavily damaged vehicles, as well as vehicles originally manufactured with right-hand drive, will not be allowed. The new rules aim to improve road safety, protect consumers and raise standards in Ghana's used car market. So this news broke over the weekend, and there have been reactions or comments from industry players. So this from the Vehicles and Asset Dealers Union of Ghana, VADAC. They've expressed concern over the increasing presence of Chinese automobile brands in Ghana, warning that the trend is putting significant pressure on local industry. So today we want to have a conversation with the Executive Secretary, Frank Atienle Kofi-Ga, who joins us on the line. Hello, Mr. Kofi-Ga, good afternoon and thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon and thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. So we are tackling the issue of Ghana banning the importation of used vehicles for more than 10 years as a result of new safety rules to protect consumer and also raise standards in Ghana's used car market. Are you a key player in this sector? So I want to know how much of an impact the imported vehicles have on local dealers like yourself.
Okay, so first and foremost, there is already a custom act that seeks to ban the importation of vehicles that are 10 years and older. And also, if anybody flouts that law, or you wish to bring in a vehicle which is 10 years or older, you pay penalties on that. So if standardization is being introduced in the first place, what are those standards for? Are those standards meant for the vehicle themselves or the age? That is the first question that needs answers. And also the implementation of this particular, policy or this particular standardization comes on the back of what we are told is a pre-shipment inspection policy. You understand? Now, a pre-shipment inspection policy means that before the vehicle is shipped from the country of origin, it needs to be inspected. The question is, inspected by who? See, the customs or the inspection out in the country of origin or from where? You see, there need to be very proper explanations to this before you even think about a rollout. And the question again is, Why 1st of October? The standard boss keeps saying that they are still they are still going through review processes of the drafts or the policy. So if you're going through a review process, why are you in a haste to implement something that you don't have a clear-cut understanding of what the ends will mean for the consumer or for the importer? Okay. Now, the question again is that, yes, for me personally as an importer, I do not import vehicles that are 10 years or older. Okay, I only do that on request if a customer wants an antique vehicle, or for which reason I will let you know that, yes, there are penalties for it. But what about the light, medium, and heavy trucks, which are often 10 years and above? Okay, the Kia Mighty, the Hyundai Bongos, which are used to carry our sachet waters and then our, cement and our blocks in the system. Okay, they need to hasten slowly when it comes to implementations of this nature. Okay,
but one will also argue that, as you asked, why 1st August? One will also argue that could it be that there are lots of used vehicles in the country now that the government needs to find a measure to sort of curb or cut it at a point?
See, that is a very valid question that I think I'll answer, but I want to say this before I answer that question, that we are not against standardization of automobiles. Any country or citizenry that is against standards, risk, hurting themselves. Okay, because the standards authority are there to ensure that whatever we import into this country is good, is quality.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Kofi, are you on the line?
And for the people, hello?
Yeah, hello, I can hear you.
You understand me? So we are not against standardization. But the answer to that question lies in the bottom of the standards authority. Are they allowing themselves to be used as an agency of states to frustrate the number of used vehicles that are coming into the country? That is a question that they need to answer. But we, as a union, have observed that a lot of people who are not dealers, they sit in their rooms and they import a lot of bad and shady vehicles into the economy, okay, or into the country. We've had series of reports coming to our union. We've had series of collaborations with the Auto Tech Division of the Ghana Police Service. People who are online saying that, I'll import a vehicle for you at X amount of money. Oh, this one is 5,000. This one is 2,000. You are buying it too expensive in Ghana. And upon arrival of their vehicles, they realize that very bad, shoddy, chassis damaged vehicles have been imported for them. These are the things that we want to collaborate with standards to actually bring proper enforcement, okay, and the relevant agencies, so we can look at how we can do this, because clearly everybody can do this from their rooms. There is no classification of who or certified people who are qualified or who have been given the mandate by any state agency to import vehicles. So there's no clear cut on that, okay? But if standards authority are saying that this is what they want to do, it begs a lot of questions that I would say, like I keep on saying, than answers.
Right. So, Mr. Koviga, since you're an industry player and I have you on the show, let me ask you this. Why do many Ghanaians prefer buying imported used cars instead of vehicles from local dealers? Is it that it's cheaper, or maybe they feel like it's more durable and it's more strong to withstand any road shape or form in the country, or what's actually the reason Ghanaians are buying these imported used cars compared to vehicles locally manufactured or from local dealers here, I should say?
Okay, so if you say local dealers, I want to understand. Are you talking about the brand new,
yes,
locally assembled vehicles?
Yes, from the locally assembled from here.
You see, as a country, we need to come to terms with the fact that preference and choice plays a key role when it comes to demand and supply. We are used to a particular terrain. We are used to a particular train of vehicles. Okay, so introducing something that we are not used to, okay, you need to hasten slowly. Okay, the reason why Ghanaians will prefer a used brand, I don't want to mention any brand's name, vis-a-vis a locally assembled brand. First and foremost, is about cost. Second is about durability. Third is about the availability of parts and after-sales servicing. Okay, if I will not be held contempt anywhere, I can say Toyota. I can use Toyota for an example.
Right.
Once I buy a Toyota Corolla, Toyota RAV4, Toyota Highlander, Toyota Sequoia, whatever Toyota brand from the United States, I know first and foremost that if I go to Abosokan, I will get every single part from engine to chassis to whatever in Abosokan. Okay, so people are looking at the ease with which they can reach out to replacement parts. People are looking at the ease, or they're looking at the goodwill on the brand that they can certify, or they can say that can stand the test of time. And most importantly, they're looking at their pockets. Okay, because in this country we know that auto financing is, if I'm going to classify it, it's 1% or 2%. Even if I want to be favorable, let's say 10%. Okay. And even if there is anything called auto financing in this country, we are all aware in this country that the informal sector is way bigger in percentage than the formal sector. So how can auto financing help the young boy at Abosokan or Kokompe, who is a scrap dealer, or who is a hawker, or who is a carpenter, or any carpenter around? They are able to finance automobiles for them. But they are able to put together some money, save, and then get probably a Toyota Vitz, okay, buy a Toyota Corolla, used one. Okay, auto financing has nothing to do with used vehicles. They go with brand new vehicles. So there's a clear inequality between the formal sector, informal sector, what can be done there and what can be done here. Okay, so it is the system and how far we have come. So when we are introducing something, okay, we should be very mindful of the copy and paste. Okay, when we travel outside, when we go overseas and we see implementation, or we see policies that have tried, before we bring it into our country, we need to look at the terrains, we need to look at the levels of the economy and the people, okay, and then you introduce it step by step. You don't just come and throw it at them, force it onto them. No, it will not work. It will bounce. It will turn into a white elephant on your shelf. You understand?
Right.
It will carry dust. So the Standards Authority should know that this issue of banning of salvage vehicles and then the standardization and all of that, we are for it. But let's start from somewhere. Okay? Let's start by saying that, okay, fine. You can no longer sit in the comfort of your room as a Ghanaian and just import any vehicle. You understand? Vehicle importation should be, or people who are going to import vehicles should be certified, let's say the Standards Authority, or let's say the Ministry of Trade. You understand? Just like we have for excavators.
Yeah.
We can say, okay, fine. As a country, we want to regulate the vehicles that come into this country. So we can certify maybe 10 dealer unions to bring in maybe, let's say, 20,000 used vehicles, okay, which meet a particular standard, a particular criteria to be able to feed the market. But if you're going to look at the fact that they are manufacturing or they are assemblers in the economy now, so we need to use every form of standardization or measures or policy or act of parliament or blah, blah, blah to somewhat frustrate. You're not frustrating the importer. You are frustrating your own people. You are frustrating the final consumer because they've not become rich overnight. You understand? What is the fallout? The fallout from all this will mean that people will lose their work. Okay, what will happen to those people? We know the situation of unemployment in this country. So there's a lot about this policy, and there's a lot more conversation that we need to have holistically. Okay, holistically. I want to use this word, holistically, so that we can be able to chart a path for the automobile industry that fits the Ghanaian economy, not a copy and paste type.
Right, Mr. Kofiga, we have about a minute or two to wrap up this whole conversation on the show, but you talked about this policy is going to affect jobs within the local industry. As a player, are you looking forward to have a broader stakeholder conversation with the government in as much as the policy is already in force?
Honestly, when we talk about having conversations with the government, I'm yet to know, or I'm yet to hear, I'm yet to see an invitation from the ministry or any of the agencies under which we trade, okay, or the ministry oversees any meeting inviting us for any stakeholder conversation on this, okay. I want to state here on your platform that anytime we are called, it's an afterthought. They go, they sit down, they cook it, and then they think, oh, you know what, let's just bring them in and let's see what they think. Forgetting that we are the main and only stakeholder when it comes to the used vehicles. And we control the force, we control the market, we have the market. You understand? So before you can regulate our market, before you can say anything about our market, you need to make sure that we have proper representation on the table. Our inputs are key because we know what goes on down there. We know what is going on in the market as we speak. Social media telemarketers have taken advantage of it and then they are duping people. See, if you go to the police auto theft department, you'll be amazed. People who have created a lot of shady platforms, marketing, oh, I can import a car for you and bring it to Tema at this X value. If you go here, is this? You see a lot of them. There are a lot of vehicles right now. Go with your reporters. Go to the port. Vehicles. There are certain vehicles that cannot be cleared because these guys import the vehicles, and to their utter dismay, when the clients go to the port, they see how badly damaged the vehicle that has been imported for them. For which reason they don't clear, so they are there. It's like a graveyard of badly damaged vehicles. And no member of VADAC, of this union, registered member of VADAC, who has experience from knowing the vehicle, purchasing, importation to Tema, will import such vehicles for people. Because we have the experience, we've gone through so many years of training when it comes to this. Okay, so we have to start the conversation from somewhere.
Very well. So we start the conversation from somewhere. Thank you so much, Mr. Kofiga. And thanks for joining us with your submission on the afternoon business review here on Class 91.3 FM.
Thank you for having me.
So you had the Executive Secretary of the Vehicle and Asset Dealers Association of Ghana, VADAC, Frank Atienlu Kofiga, and that's it for today's edition of the Afternoon Business Review here on Class 91.3 FM. Catch us same time tomorrow on this dial. As we say always, you don't need a dictionary to understand business news. Good afternoon.